My name is Angel Lozano. Good day. And during this project, co-financed by the EU, a project concerning the impact of the mobility package on the situation of workers in the transport sector, I coordinated the entire working team, which included experts from many countries, so Poland, Croatia, Spain, Greece, Norway, and Italy. And we did everything we could to improve the implementation of key elements included in the mobility package, which concerns the work of employees of the road transport sector in Europe. Our project took almost 24 months, and as part of it, we conducted a research phase. During this research, we checked the status of implementation of the directives in all 6 countries involved in this project. At the same time, we talked about the impact of the mobility package on the labor market in the EU in general. We focused on the road transport sector. We were primarily interested in the situation of the drivers of trucks that are performing this work. So all partners did a lot of work, and we were able to draw several conclusions, namely that with regards to the right to participate, this was one of the elements that we analyzed. We determined that it is very important that the employer must inform those employees about various topics related to their employment conditions. We have also determined that the operation of trade unions and works councils is correct and is assessed as useful by the employees that we talked to during the research phase, because we organize interviews and questionnaires. So we interviewed both employees and employers who are posting their workers. With regards to the employment conditions in the transport sector, we were able to determine that collective agreements are the ideal solution to help execute those employee rights, and it should be in collective agreements that the pay for employees should be determined. At the same time, we noticed that there are major differences in the remuneration in this sector between the different countries. We have also determined that the conditions of work in the transport sector are considered to be acceptable by the majority of the stakeholders who participate in our project, although there were differences depending on the country that they came from. With regards to EU and national regulations concerning the posting of workers, here we were able to determine that both employees and employers find the current regulations to be of poor effectiveness for guaranteeing the rights of posted workers in the road transport sector. Those results that I'm discussing were very similar in all countries in which we conducted our project. And based on this information, we took certain action that related to the work of those truck drivers who work in different countries of the EU. So we communicated with those people, and we provided them with information that was reliable, that was easy to understand. At the same time, as part of our project, we conducted an information campaign addressed to the broadly understood society so that it could understand the specific nature of the work of truck drivers in road transport in Europe and what their problems are. We also discussed all the topics related to the mobility package, so how those regulations influence the situation of the posted workers and their employers in this sector. The mobility package of the EU came into effect in 2022, And this mobility package contains three primary legal texts that are to govern the work of this professional group and are to guarantee good working conditions for drivers, at the same time guaranteeing fair competition between the European hauliers, transport companies. The mobility package is to create a sector that is safe, effective, and socially responsible. With regards to the most important new items that appear in those regulations in the mobility package, we should list the new definition of the posted worker in the road transport sector. This definition has refers to various types of transport operations that can be performed by the drivers. So this is one element, and the other element is the connection between the employee and the country in which they perform their services. And this definition allows us to determine when the employee is posted. So the employee is posted if they are conducting transnational but not bilateral transport. So those are operations between two member states or a member state and a third country, if neither of them is the country in which the hauliers company is registered. The second element that determines this posting are cabotage services. So in that case, employees are also considered to be posted workers. This is a transport service within the territory of one country, but the country is different than the country in which the haulier is registered. Another important element that I want to point out and that concerns the mobility package is new regulations that force the employer to guarantee the same working conditions to the posted workers as those prevailing in the host country, or the conditions in their own country if those are better for the employee. So these conditions are determined either by the national legislation or by some collective agreement that applies. There are guarantees of such elements as the driving time, so maximum driving time, the rest time, also the amount of the remuneration, occupational health and safety, and the reimbursement of expenses that the worker had to incur when they were posted. So the cost of accommodation and other elements. So whatever costs the employee incurred during their posting period. So those are the most important elements. What is more, the mobility package also introduces administrative duties for the employer and the employee. And thus, the driver, whenever they cross the border of a member state, they have to record certain information on their tachograph. This then forms the ground for generating documents that confirms that the employee was posted. They confirm the working time, the rest times, and so on. I think that the mobility package had a very ambitious and worthy goal, but the employers and employees have told us that those new regulations are frequently not complied with. So there are very many challenges and problems. And the European Labour Agency also referred to those. This is about the new reality after the mobility package has come into effect. There are many topics that have not been regulated yet. So we need to improve the synchronization and exchange of information between the different social security institutions in European Union member states, but also other matters that ELA has pointed out. So in the face of those challenges, this ELA agency is calling for an improvement of international cooperation because there are many topics that have to be improved in the European transport sector. For example, there has to be better inspection or better control of the working and resting time. We need better compliance with all the rules of posting of workers. So to summarize, if we're talking about our project concerning the mobility package, we were able to determine some items that need improvement. We have proposed some good practices that are to improve the situation of the employees in the road transport sector. And in parallel, we remember that we also need to improve the situation in individual member states, not only at the EU level. So with regards to things that need improving, we need to include precise, clear, and understandable information for employees and employers to implement the mobility package regulations. We need to strengthen the administrative cooperation and exchange of information between the appropriate authorities at the national level. So, for example, the operation of such tools as the IMI system or the electronic register of road transport operators, ERO. So this is about coordinating all those electronic registers and improving the cooperation between authorities. We should also provide the appropriate means and tools for inspections and controls, particularly cross-border inspections, to improve the effective combating of infringements of road transport and employee posting. We should also provide the appropriate training for the officials of national authorities so that they can discharge their duties better and so that they would know the regulations of the mobility package very well. Fifth is that we should reduce the obstacles caused by the language barrier so that access to information is not prohibited by language problems, so that the employers and the hauliers can get access to information. Sixth is that we should analyze the existing threats for this sector so that we can ensure the best possible protection of posted workers. And finally, seventh, is improving the activities of the European Union institutions to improve the quality of information consultation and collective negotiations, both at the national level and at the transnational level in the transport sector.